that. And let
me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So sorry to interrupt you, but House Speaker John Boehner is speaking now. So let's listen in first.
Okay.
Our disagreements are not personal, and they never have been. But the gulf between the two parties now is about policy. It's not about process, and it's not about personalities. The President and I agree that the current levels of spending, including entitlement spending, are unsustainable. The President and I do not agree on his view that government needs more revenues through higher taxes on job creators. The President and I also disagree on the extent of the entitlement problem and what is necessary in order to solve it. Most Americans would say that a balanced approach is a simple one. The administration gets its debt limit increase, and the American people get their spending cuts and their reforms. And adding tax increases to the equation doesn't balance anything. The American people understand that tax hikes destroy jobs. And the last thing we should be doing right now, at a time of 9.2% unemployment, is enacting more government policies that will destroy jobs. What the American people want is for us to work together to remove government barriers that are getting in the way of job creation and real economic growth. Two of the biggest obstacles to job growth that we face are out-of-control entitlement spending and the current tax code. And I think the fundamental questions are this. Can you control government spending without fundamentally reforming entitlements? I think the answer is no. Do you need to raise taxes in order to get control of spending? I think the answer is no. If you want to see an increase in government revenues, then let's grow the economy and create jobs, broaden the tax base, and lower rates. As Senator Rubio said last week, we don't need more taxes. What we need are more taxpayers. So our disagreement with the president is not about closing loopholes. None of us are fond of loopholes. Our disagreement is over the idea of raising taxes on the very people that we're asking to create jobs in our country. I would agree with the president that the national debt limit must be raised, and I'm glad that he made the case for it today. But the American people will not accept, and the House cannot pass, a bill that raises taxes on job creators. The House can only pass a debt limit bill that includes spending cuts larger than the hike in the debt limit, as well as real restraints on future spending. My colleagues and I believe we should enact a balanced budget amendment to keep the federal government from spending us into the same situation again. I think we also need real reductions in spending right now and spending caps to ensure that any progress that we make is not undone in the future. Listen, I agree with the president. We cannot allow our nation to default on our debt. But to prevent a default, a bill must pass the Congress. And a bill that doesn't meet these tests can't pass the House of Representatives. This is the message we will take again to the White House today, and hope that we can work our way through this.
Mr. Speaker, is your side willing to carry most of the water here? If you can get the president to set aside the taxes. You have, anywhere from 80 to 120 people on your side of the aisle who don't want to vote for a debt ceiling increase no matter what. How can you get past that unless the president brings some taxes?
I do think that whatever agreement that we come to is going to have to pass the House and Senate on a bipartisan basis.
How much?
That's an extraordinary moment today at the White House. The Democratic president saying that we need to cut entitlements. He also praised you for making a good faith effort to come at a big agreement to deal with this issue. On a personal level, are you disappointed that this moment seems to have gone away, this idea of a big agreement that would really truly deal with the deficit?
Listen, we've been involved in I think, very sincere and honest negotiations and honest discussions. I think the president and I both understand that that the nation faces a very difficult decision. And there clearly is no personality difference between the president and I. I get along with him fine. This boils down to two things, and I said it on Saturday night. The president continues to insist on raising taxes, and they're just not serious enough about fundamental entitlement reform to solve the problem for the near to intermediate future. I want to get there. I want to do what I think is in the best interest of the country. But it takes two to tango, and they're not there yet.
Mr. Speaker, you say that tax increases can't pass the House, but you talked to the president about the big deal, $4 trillion, that included a massive tax increase.
There were no tax increases ever on the table. There was never any agreement to allow tax rates to go up in any discussion I've ever had with the White House. Not once.
So you're saying that the president today said that he's prepared to take significant heat from his party to get something done. Are you no longer or not willing to take similar heat? If you are, where?
Listen, I understand that this is going to take sacrifice and it's going to take political capital on both sides. And I'm certainly willing to take my fair share of it. But if we're going to take political capital, then let's step up and do the big thing and the right thing for the country.
Is that the $4 trillion?
All right, you've been listening there to House Speaker John Boehner, also talking tough, just like President Obama earlier today, saying that he had several questions, one of them being, can you control spending without reforming entitlements? His answer for that was no. His disagreement with the president, he says, is about raising taxes on people that they are asking to create jobs. They said that the Republicans will not pass a bill that raises taxes. And some of his closing words there, I want to get there, takes two to tango. They're not there yet. Will they get there by the deadline, August 2nd? We will wait and see. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.